All right, lesson 1 is all about writing good emails. Let's talk about what people get wrong in emails because this will help you understand what not to do. First and foremost, most emails I see are too long. Cut it down, a couple sentences max. Make it scannable. We'll get into that in a second. Failing to capture attention. If your email doesn't capture the attention in the first few lines, nothing else you say, no follow-ups, anything else you do in that to that one person will make no difference because frankly, you didn't get their attention. So whatever you say is not looked at or ignored. Over-personalization. Why over-personalization is bad is frankly, it's when done at scale, it's usually done wrong or doesn't make sense. You want to personalize to the point where it makes sense. It makes the person feel like you actually did this yourself. You sent a personal email. That's the point of personalization. So don't spend too much personalizing little details that don't make a difference. And the last thing is try to do a better job with a single message, right? Like don't let your email go and say, I want to talk about this, this, and that. Like don't introduce yourself, introduce the problem, introduce your company, talk about where you got funding and like all these different types of things. Try to have one single message. So let's talk about a better approach to writing cold emails. First and foremost, start with an outline. An outline will really help you define what the purpose of this is. When I write a blog post as a marketer, I'm writing things, even when I come with a new concept, I have to outline it before I go into anything. And that's the same thing when it comes to writing cold emails, or any type of emails for that matter. When you start writing the outline, think about what the ask is, right? What is the thing you're gonna actually ask somebody to do? And here's a pro tip. If you have a lower friction ask, this will increase your response rate and your success rate. So think about like, instead of asking for someone's time, ask if they were relatively interested in what you have to say. Now, don't ask it that exact way, but think about minimizing that friction on the ask, right? Even though asking for someone's time is relatively small, think about how busy they are. Think of how busy you are. Do you have time for 10, 15 minutes? A phone call for next week? Well, if you don't have the time, well, frankly, don't expect the other person to have the time. So simplify that ask. Think about what's in the intro. One thing you can mention is awards or so something you've done successfully for other people, case studies and things like that. So it's really important to master that outline. Now let's get into different templates and formats you can test. And the great thing about these formats or these templates are essentially these are proven, not just email templates, but these are proven ways, copywriting ways to actually get people's attention and get the results you want. Template number 1, attention, interest, desire, action. Roughly 4 sentences. You first get their attention, you get their interest, you pique and get them to desire what you want, and then you have an action. Here's the thing you need to do to take that step. Template number 2, my 3-sentence format. I believe no email should be longer than 3 sentences, a cold email at least, should be longer than 3 sentences. Think about this. An intro, what the heck you're doing, who you are, something about you. Sentence number 2, what you're selling. What the heck do you want? And number 3, the ask. The third template is the before, after, and bridge. The before is talking about what life was like before whatever you are selling or doing or pitching. Sentence number 2 or section number 2 is after what you're selling, after using it. I've saved a lot of time, whatever. And lastly is the bridge into how to actually do that. Very, very simple. Template number 4 is the problem, agitation, and the solution. So think about presenting a problem. Oh, I'm really busy. Things are really hard. I need some sort of, I'm busy I get too many calls. I get too many emails. Agitate them. Yes, I know you probably are running behind, kind of get their attention, poke at how bad they are because of this problem, not too aggressively, but the more you can poke, you get their emotional attention. If you can get their emotional attention, you've got their attention. If you can piss me off or you can make me happy or make me laugh, you've got my attention. And lastly, it's the solution, right? Now that you've said the problem, now you know that person has the problem, or you've poked at the fact that they have a problem, present your solution, and then the action it relates to taking that to getting that solution. The next template is picture, praise, and push. It's exactly how it sounds. Picture solution, or picture life with this solution, praise them, easy. Everybody likes a compliment, and push what you're doing. Another template is to share helpful resources, right? If you sent an email and you sent an email to me and you just helped me solve a problem, or you did your research and you knew I had a problem and you sent me resources that would help me solve that problem, articles, content, ebooks, videos, whatever it is, I mean, I'm going to generally be like, you're going to get my attention. You might even get my goodwill, and I might even respond. So send helpful content. It's my favorite way to send emails because you can't get mad at somebody trying to help you. That's just not a thing. And lastly, challenge the current state. And this is a template we have at Mailshake. Works really, really well, and you can see a screenshot here. Now, when you're writing email copy, think like you're writing ad text. Think like a copywriter that's writing sales copy. If you're writing ad text for Google AdWords, you have very, very limited character usage, not just words. So focus your attention on the subject line, opening line, and the call to action. And more to come on this there's a whole lesson on it. Remember to use clear, compelling language. The guys at The Hustle, Sam Parr, does a really, really great job at this. Make sure you check your tone, your voice, and lastly, make sure your message is scannable. It's important to build credibility. You can even use your email signature for social proof. This way, you can minimize the length of the email and reduce kind of the fluff in the intro and just put it right below the signature, right? Because right after you've asked for something, people are like, who is this person? Is this person legit? Well, it goes from like you got their attention, you told them about yourself, you asked for something, and now they're like, who is this person? And they can kind of scroll mentally, they can just kind of move their eyes to the email signature. And this way it's scannable, easy, any rewards, any places you write, anything that can help you prove credibility is where it can go is the signature. And remember to keep deliverability in mind, right? A lot of people put too many links, images, and all this clutter into an email, video, whatever. So limit the number of links. I usually limit to 2, and sometimes I don't even put any links in an email. And number 2 is to limit the number of images and kind of other additional things, because these are all spam triggers. Links or emails with too many links and too many images usually either go in the promotions tab or the spam directly. So remember to look out for those things and minimize it. Remember to have one message. Think like a conversion rate optimizer. Look at the metrics, open rates, click-through rates for your links, the leads generated, the new business generated, and always be testing, right? If you're into conversion rate optimization, you're always A/B testing something. You're always prodding into the numbers. And make sure at the end of the day, you're sending things to the right people. When you send things to the right people, generally numbers improve, but you still need to test out different parts of the email. What if your subject lines are good and you're getting a good open rate, but your response rate's low, or your click-through rate's low? You want to figure out what the things to optimize, and that's kind of what conversion rate optimizers do. And lastly, let's say you got a good open rate, you got a good response rate, but you're not closing the sale. Like that's a big part of successfully doing cold email. Well, think about what you're offering. Think about your message, man. Think about your copy. Think about the bridge from your cold email to when you actually have a conversation. That all needs to be one cohesive thought, message, and whatnot. So speaking of sending out to the right people, I look at life in 4 different buckets. There's sharks, big fish, small fish, and spawns. That sounds really bad, but spawns are just regular people. So let's talk about sharks. Sharks are big people with huge audiences and notable achievements. Think about like Gary Vee, Malcolm Gladwell, Tim Ferriss, Bill Gates, guys or girls who have very, very big audiences and have done a lot in their career. Getting a cold email to these people is next to impossible. You really need a personal intro or do something creative to stand out. A cold email generally will not cut it unless you do something big to stand out. So next up is the big fishes. Not as famous as the sharks, but still big enough to have an impact on your business, right? Think of like the Noah Kagans, Neil Patels of the world. Again, I'm just talking about marketing examples or marketing folks here. You won't get their attention with a templated email. You really have to be creative, but an email could work to get their attention. Now the small fish, people who who offer value, but maybe they don't have a big audience, but maybe they get emailed quite often. Still important, so you have to email them appropriately, right? If someone's really busy but may not have the audience, or like they might not be internet famous or what have you, you might get their attention with templates, but you might need to personalize more. And then there's the spawns. The spawns sounds bad, but just normal people, right? There's the everybody else. You can get them with an audience. You can get them with the cold email, a templatized email, personalized email, but you may need to follow up. So think about the different types of people you're reaching out to. And I don't know about you, but if I was reaching out to Bill Gates and I was reaching out to 100 other entrepreneurs, I probably would spend the extra time sending an individual personalized email to Bill Gates or doing more research on Bill Gates than I would any other 100 entrepreneurs, because I've only got one shot at this thing, and who probably doesn't even check email as often as you think. And think about this, Bill Gates probably checks email, but he probably won't get back to you for a week. Whereas if you emailed me, I'd probably get back to you in 48 hours or less. So think about the different types of people and trigger your follow-ups accordingly. And we'll get into this in a lot more details in further lessons, so stay tuned.